Okay, just adjusting a few settings here. Okay, looking good and actually recording. Okay, welcome to this Good Friday webinar, and the note on the screen to press record now is for me and not for you, because there are often quite a few things going on here and very easy for me to get distracted. So that is a device to prevent the nut behind the wheel kind of doing anything stupid like not recording. So let's jump in and get going. Now, as you'll see, and as you've probably already experienced inside SEO Traffic Hacks, there are certain kind of principles that drive the way I work in SEO, and those will become particularly apparent in all of the things that I plan to go through today. So firstly, the thing that motivates a lot of what I do in SEO is that I'm always looking for ways to make SEO cheaper, to improve the efficiency of it, to have to work less on it, obviously achieve higher rankings, get better conversions and scale. But it's always kind of mindful of the fact that SEO seems to be getting kind of more expensive, more difficult. That's kind of the general consensus view. But in fact, if we, to use an old business cliche, kind of work smarter rather than harder and just find those great angles to do it more efficiently and cheaper, then I think it's more accessible to more people. And obviously, as things like the zero content SEO prove, can be very, very effective. The other thing I'll just mention quickly is when, for example, you watch Josh Bashinsky's videos on John Muir's Google Hangouts and you read a lot of stuff on Search Engine Journal or all those kind of online SEO magazines, it seems to me a lot of the time it's just constantly talking about what can't be done and what shouldn't be done in SEO, because if you do this or that, you'll get a penalty. If you do this or that, Google will spot it and punish your site. So there's not too much talk in there about what you can do and an awful lot of talk about what you shouldn't do or can't do. But increasingly, as you're probably realizing, particularly in seeing different angles on zero content SEO testing, is that it kind of makes you wonder how much real, proper, ongoing testing those guys are doing if they're talking about things, such as the importance of on-page SEO, and I've totally been there. All those little nuts and bolts things which we're now on this kind of phase of zero content SEO testing, we're just peeling those back and seeing if we can still get results and get them to stick. And so far, all of the sites that I've done it on, the rankings are still sticking, and if there's any big changes, I'll add those to the relevant forum, sub-forum thread. But I don't know about you, but the more testing I do, and at the moment I'd even like to be doing a lot more testing than I currently am, it really makes me question a lot of people talking about what you should and shouldn't do in SEO, because what they're talking about is completely different to the results that I see on a kind of day-to-day basis. But so here, just to summarize, it's about what we can do and how we can do it kind of cheaply and more efficiently. So let's jump into a few things along that line. So one of the new tests that I started yesterday is something that I'm going to call PR0 PBN. So how this works is that normally, as you know now, with more and more SEOs going after expired domains, age domains with PageRank, the market is getting tighter and tighter and it gets more expensive. If you've ever gone through the agony of a domain auction for a half-decent PR domain, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, where I'm not even sure if it still works like this, but for example, on a GoDaddy auction, in the last few minutes of the auction, new bids extend the auction by a couple of more minutes. So if there's a bit of a feeding frenzy of bidders, the price just becomes truly ridiculous and just not good value to pick up. So one of the big problems with the way I do SEO and the way we do it, I guess, in SEO Traffic Hacks is trying to get hold of good age domains that have got PageRank and some decent backlinks. So The thing about this PR0 PBN approach is that it's trying to just basically sidestep all that in the same way that zero content SEO can sidestep penalties, and I put up a video training on that this week, which you should check out if you haven't already. So this method here, and I've got to say it's completely untested in that we haven't got results back yet. We're just still setting this up, but we made a big step on it yesterday, is this PR0 PBN, which can enable you to set up your own PBN much more cheaply than you otherwise would. So one of the premises here of this PR0 PBN is that Google say, not that I believe very much of what they say, but they say that they update their PR daily, and just putting the common sense SEO hat on for a moment, that does kind of track in that when there's some new viral news story about some celebrity dying or some celebrities getting engaged to get married or whatever, Google has to be able to react quickly and give those viral news stories kind of link juice and so on from all the places that they're getting linked to. So for PR0 PBN, we're going to basically throw out toolbar PR, which we know is kind of a grudging thing that Google will just do occasionally. Used to be a lot more regular, now it's a lot more irregular. So we're basically, for this particular test, if it works, we're just going to ignore toolbar PR just for the moment. So what we're then going to do, and I want to look at some other methods for doing this a bit more efficiently, is to use our kind of CNN super hack on SEO traffic hacks. And you can do this freely with Xenu. There are links to Xenu. You can just Google it as well. And Screaming Frog, which is a paid tool, which is £99 a year, which is about $160 to $170 US a year. We want to locate available domains that have expired, that are not being used, that have actually been de-indexed by Google, but still have good metrics showing for us in Majestic Ahrefs and Open Site Explorer. And if you look at any of these domains that you can find, you whack them into those tools and they'll give you a full readout, citation flow, domain authority, all those kind of normal measures which for some people in SEO are kind of replacing PR or interchangeable with PR. So even though we want to find, for example, an expired domain that has a link from Oxford University PR5 page or whatever, we can't see that it has any PR, but we can see its metrics, its backlinks in Majestic Ahrefs and Open Site Explorer. And it's very important with this method to know that not all types of de-indexing are punitive. They're not all bad. So typically with this approach, when I come along and buy a domain like this and just put an empty WordPress install on it, it will naturally get re-indexed within a day or two anyway. So there's no kind of standing penalty or punishment against that particular domain. It's just that because nobody's using it, it's been allowed to lapse for years. It's now just been de-indexed because it has no search engine value to Google. So, but we can still check those other metrics as well. So if we have good PR on the authority page, that's like the CNN or Oxford University or White House or Washington Post page, and the link is do follow. In my own testing, I haven't been able to get no follow links to pass page rank. Doesn't mean they don't help your ranking, but in terms of just pure page rank, I haven't been able to see that happen. So if we've got good page rank on the authority page, the link is do follow. We've had a look at the metrics in those three tools, Majestic Ahrefs and Open Site Explorer. We're probably going to go ahead and buy that domain and put it into our PR0 PBN. Now, when it's re-indexed quite quickly, Google's internal PR should come back quickly, but it won't be reflected in toolbar PR for a long time. So don't expect that to sort of pop back instantly. Maybe at the next PR update it will come back. Depends. You know, it's quite an inconsistent thing. So you can see here if these are your PBN sites, whether you're building 25 or 50 of these type of sites for your PBN, this is going to be way, way cheaper because you're just paying the domain registration cost. So, for instance, it's around $10 for a .com, and that could have already really good backlinks, good metrics in those three tools, and ready to go. But it won't show any toolbar page rank. So, our test that we set up yesterday with 50 of these domains, we should have results probably by the next webinar next week. But you can see that's can be a much simpler buying process than typical due diligence. The slow part will come on the finding those domains through that CNN kind of hack technique. Now, the other thing I also want to try, and I don't quite have the domains in place at the moment to do it, but I'll get them, is to actually get a bunch of PR1s and see if 25 or 50 PR1s actually have any PBN value, because they can be, you can get them very, very cheaply, and they may have value. In all my current kind of zero content SEO testing is with PR2 to PR4 sites, nothing higher than PR4, and it's delivering awesome results. So it seems a bit more like you just need a bit more quantity in those PBN links rather than kind of raw PR power. But you can see here how I'm just trying to peel back the layers of how much we really need to do well. So if a PR1, or according to Toolbar, the PR toolbar like SEO Quake, PR0 PBN can deliver you great rankings results, and obviously that's going to save a lot of money. Also on the PR0 PBN, let's just kind of quickly work through the numbers, the costings here. And obviously you could do this with 100 domains, you could do it with 25, just whatever your kind of resources are. So if you're going with, say, 50 expired domains, we're talking about $9 to $10 each yearly. And don't forget, if you register them at Traffic Planet Hosting, you can get free WHOIS privacy protection sort of forever. At the moment is the deal we have, whereas typically with GoDaddy and Namecheap, you get it free in the first year, and then it's like $10 a year after that. Hosting, if you're working on something like $3 to $5 per month per domain, per site, talking about $150 to $250 per month. The tool that we grudgingly use for posting to PBN at the moment is Article Marketing Robot. That's $97 for a one-off lifetime purchase price, and for that you can install on 2 different computers. So if you've got an outsourcer or VA, PA, whatever there, you can actually have it on 2 machines for $97 forever. You can also do Spintax posting with Main WP, and a little while ago they did change their business model, and I think technically now, I mean, I didn't double check just before this webinar, but I think Main WP is now free and you pay for the extensions to it. When we got it, it wasn't. You paid for Main WP and the extensions, but they credited our account, and now we get extensions for free. So it's a bit more complicated, but a visit to mainwp.com will quickly show you what's needed there. So you can do it on a budget if you really need to, and there are probably other tools as well you can use that are available. If you're really stuck, you don't necessarily have to use Screaming Frog. It's just got a bit more power than Xenu. Xenu is free, so you've got options there to find these domains. So total cost that I worked out here, and this is with AMR rather than free Main WP, and with Screaming Frog rather than free Xenu. So it was about $1,000 for your 50 quote-unquote PR0 domains for your PBN to be set up and ready to post to and do your zero content SEO and any other kind of SEO that you want to. The thing I really like about this kind of PBN is that while it's got PR or link juice, and while it's indexed and working, you can just keep doing more and more jobs to it. It doesn't have a finite limit like permanent homepage backlinks rentals, where you're only renting out 5, 10, 20, 30 link slots on the homepage. With this kind of slingshot style PBN, you can just keep pumping to it. You're just creating jobs kind of endlessly. So if I were to go out to buy 50 PR2s, you know, PR4s, whatever, around that price, it would probably, and set it all up like that, would probably cost at least 2 to 3 times or more money to do that. So I'm not saying $1,000 is not a small amount of money. You know, that's still quite an investment, but it's still a very, very cheap way into this kind of SEO. The other drawback here, as I mentioned, you've kind of got the time for the domain checking, hosting setups, which, you know, if you're using a lot of little companies like normal SEO, non-SEO companies, just normal hosting companies, they can be a real nightmare. Or there are other good SEO hosting company options where you can buy multiple IPs, and they're all well documented inside SEO Traffic Hacks as well. You've got the time involved on WordPress installations, and we in the last few days have been trying a bulk tool for this called wpdesktop.com, because we're dealing with so many domains. We just want something that can install on a ton of sites at once, default WordPress installation. We haven't got it working properly yet. We're still talking to the guys, the support team at WP Desktop, trying to make it work. Hopefully we'll have some news on that next week. Main WP at the moment can't do it. I've suggested it as a feature upgrade in their you know, members area there, whether they will or not. They seem quite responsive to requests like that, so I really hope they bring it in. It would save us a ton of time. Okay, and just a quick reminder there, so it's going to be a PR0 network, so I've called it the PR0, kind of in inverted commas, PBN on the toolbar, but that should have some SEO impact. Excuse me, should have some SEO impact when re-indexed. And if you think about it, if this can work, in a way this can really revolutionize PBN building, because you're not now having to go out and be at the mercy of domain auctions and strictly limited supply so much. There is still time involved in finding these domains available, but you know, even there's a great potential here for people to develop their own software. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to do it at the moment, just be doing massive bulk scanning and finding these and offering some kind of subscription service to this. It's a great business opportunity, and in a way, if this works from an SEO point of view, this could well be kind of the next step in you know, aged PR domain use for SEO. It's just getting around that big problem of lack of supply and too much demand for it. So we, as I say, we got the 50 sites up yesterday. We bought them, we found them, we bought them. We're in the process of setting up WordPress one by one on them. We're not worried about the super high PR here. We just were using citation flow and trust flow as the main metrics just to test it out. We just want to see now, once they're all set up, we'll run a few you know, PBN runs at some test sites and just see if it's got the SEO impact. But if it does, that's, you know, going to be pretty exciting. Okay, before I go on to this subdomain zero content SEO testing, I'll just check if there are any questions on that new test there. Okay, I've got a bunch coming up here. Chad has asked, wouldn't domain age be a determining factor to make that link worthless? If domain age means nothing, then this point is irrelevant. Exactly one of the things to test out, Chad, and a lot of people have opinions on that. And what I'll do with this 50 site PBN0 network is I'll publish the age of every one of the sites in there, and also publish the metrics from Majestic for all of those as well, assuming we get some results. Chris has asked, how are you defining the authority page, the root domain index page, or the page that you find the abandoned link on? Chris, it's always on the actual page where the link is. That's the one that must have page rank, not the root domain. Scott has asked, so you don't need to necessarily host these PBN on different IPs. We are in this particular test, and I was having a very interesting discussion with a real black hat guy last week, and he actually doesn't use that many IPs. He used, to me, a shockingly small number of IPs for his SEO work. And I'll write this up inside the training because it could be a bit of a unique situation that doesn't apply for us. It could be Bulgarian specific, but for this particular test, Scott would definitely have different IPs. Ed has asked, what about other metrics like page authority, etc.? Yep. So for this particular test, Ed, I'm just focusing on citation flow and trust flow, and we can move along in subsequent tests to other metrics as well. I mean, ideally, if it's got a good reading across all three, then that's a pretty good one to go for. Peter has asked, did you find the 50 domains using the CNN hack? If so, how long did it take you to find them? In this particular instance, Peter, we didn't, but that method can work, but it's the method that we used is still kind of highly experimental, and we want to kind of fine-tune it before I release more information about it, but I hope to be able to do that soon. Finding those domains using that excuse me, CNN hack, it's time-consuming, no question about it, and you have a lot of misses for the occasional hit. It's a great thing to outsource if you can, or if you have the patience to do it yourself. You can sometimes find them very quickly. Sometimes, you know, it can take quite some time. It's better to kind of veer away, obviously, from the CNNs and so on now, because it's really kind of authority page rank that we want. So it could be, for example, Forbes.com or possibly Washington Post and a lot of other kind of authority sites, but not so much the CNNs of the world. Jeremiah has asked, did I look for minimum domain authority? This one was citation flow and trust flow. So I think in the 55, citation flow on everything was above 10 on those, and some quite a lot higher, Jeremiah, but I will publish that information. Scott has asked, if my PBN or parts of it get slapped, what do I do? Maybe just rehost with a different hosting company. Well, if that slap takes the form of de-indexing of those domains, I'll kind of put them into what I call rehab for a while and just move to a completely different network. Peter has says, cutting edge stuff, looking forward to hearing more about finding good domains faster. Thank you, Peter, working on it all the time. Clint has asked, have you tested focusing just on page and domain authority? Not a lot, but something I'll do more and more, especially with this PR0 technique. Okay, interesting. Memo's joined here. Matt Cutts has joined. Maybe a Matt Cutts, not the one. Matthew has asked, I'm getting different results from SEO Quake than from site or info searches. Is SEO Quake behind with its results? Good question. I haven't seen that issue so much, but our guys here are checking domains always, so we'll have a closer look at that this week, Matthew. And if you send me an email just to remind me as well, support@terrykyle.net, and we'll let you know just what we see from that. Wes has asked, it's a very good question actually, do you know of any bulk metric checkers when looking for domains? If you have a Majestic account, you can upload like tens of thousands, could be a lot, could be, depending on the level of your account, can be like 500,000 domains at once. And it takes a little while to come back with that info. It could take a few minutes. Nate Fisher has also just said that NetPeak Checker can run bulk checks as well. Yep, exactly. All of them, I think Open Site Explorer, you've got up to 5. It's pretty weak there. I'm not sure exactly what the current Ahrefs bulk upload limit is, depending on your account there, but someone might be able to pop in with that information as well. Okay, moving on to the next interesting test. And again, this comes back to kind of doing SEO super cheap. Here's one of the problems with zero content SEO testing, which obviously I'm pretty obsessed with at the moment and loving the results from it. when I tried those .us cheapy $3.99 domains, completely tanked, didn't get any results whatsoever on any of the 10 sites I think it was. I think it was a 10 pack being tested there. Tried PDFs on S3, no good there, very, very weak performance. But when I've kind of run all these very successful tests, they've always been with .com domains. Now, I haven't tested with .net or .org because they're sort of around the same price typically at domain registrars, so I've just been sticking with the .coms while testing other things like no content in the PBN posts, for example. So one of the problems is, let's say that I want to go into the Forex niche and I want to test out some domains. I'm going to jump into Forex as an affiliate. I'm not active there at the moment, by the way. So I want to do that. So I have to come along and register for my 5 or 10 pack, 5 or 10 domains. So that's $50 to $100 as part of that test process. That's okay, but I'd like to do it cheaper. And if my goal is really to come in and monster that niche, I actually might want to, over time, I could be testing 100 or 200 or 500 brand new .com domains for just to get more and more traffic, more long tails kind of racked up there, just adding that scale. So if I'm doing that with new .coms, that's going to add a huge amount of expense to that process. So what I plan to try here, and this is all just completely untested conjecture at the moment, but just letting you know where my thinking is at and what's coming up in terms of testing. What I'll do instead is register something like 10 to 20 new .coms with extremely general domain names that could be almost applied to any niche, absolutely anywhere. So these could be, and I haven't checked if these are available or not, but domain names like oneonlinetoday.com, mybestinfo2.com, etc. Extremely general, not specific to anything. So then what I will do, and actually, by the way, I also have completely separate hosting for those different hosting accounts. And then what I'll do is create a new subdomain on each. And typically with most hosting companies, you can have unlimited subdomains. You can just check your current host for what the options are there, but usually it's going to be unlimited. So then we create new subdomains for each zero content SEO test. So in each niche, rhyme unintentional, I'm going to test a 5-pack or 10-pack with each new subdomain is from a different root domain. So for example, and remember these are all on different hosting accounts, so let's say I want to go into the dating niche. So on oneonlinetoday.com I create a subdomain that's relationships, so it's relationships.oneonlinetoday.com, put an empty site on it. I might mono-silo it, I might not. Just depends what I'm testing there. And that will be my zero content SEO testing vehicle. But tomorrow, if I want to test Forex, I could have a Forex subdomain excuse me, on oneonlinetoday.com. And the day after that, if I want to go into the acne niche, I can have an acne-related subdomain here on that same bigger domain. Now, it may well saturate and it may well hit a point where I just can't get any more value out of it. But in the short term, this could be a way to short circuit and get around that expense of, constantly buying and buying and buying new test domains. So as I explained, following test is in the acne niche. So site 1 is skincare.oneonlinetoday.com, completely different site, different configuration. Site 2 is dermatology.mybestinfo2.com. And I can leave the winners as they are because I can just keep creating more and more and more subdomains. Or I can, if I don't want to do that for whatever reason, I can 301 it to a brand new proper domain or even a YouTube video or whatever. I can do that. Maybe I'll have a mix. It just depends if that works. But you can see now these subdomains cost me nothing for testing. So if I've got my PR0 PBN, assuming that works okay, set up, I've saved a lot of money there. And here I've also saved a lot of money by testing with subdomains of these different root domains hosted in different places just for kind of testing purposes. Okay, So there are a couple of the big tests on the drawing board right now. I'll just check if we have any questions quickly. Let's see here. Nate has indicated, Nate says, I've got an incredibly interesting test going on that could be extremely beneficial for lowering the cost of running a PBN. I would love to drop the idea by and see if you'd be interested in joining a test as well. Absolutely, Nate. Just send me an email to support@terrykyle.net. Just be aware over Easter that has an autoresponder saying we're not responding till Tuesday, but I'll get back to you before Tuesday if you want to send over that one. Clint has said, sort of the same theory of WordPress, for example, ranking different blogs based off keyword and taking advantage of the main domain trust. Yeah, kind of like that, but here obviously we have control of the sites. Ed is saying, does Google see subdomains as separate sites? We're going to find out, Ed. We're going to test it out. I've never done a huge amount of subdomain testing. I've never played around with it. I haven't needed to, but it seems to be a great additional angle to get into. Peter has said, I think we have a new candidate for best webinar ever. Fantastic information. Thank you, Peter. I wasn't actually, excuse me, I wasn't aiming that high for Easter, but I'll gladly take that. Thank you. All the best stuff is still to come, by the way, Peter, so hold on. We'll see how we go there. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about the thing about this whole thing of kind of doing things as cheaply and efficiently as possible is really, like with zero content SEO, you know, and I've really got to take my hat off to Tony Golan for, you know, persevering with me to get into that and testing it, because it really is incredible stuff. But really that whole way of doing things, of throwing out the SEO rule book more or less, and that even really I think extends to monetization. Can we monetize sites successfully, getting conversions, getting click-throughs, without necessarily having to do all of the cliched affiliate marketing things that we're supposed to do? So today is all about a bunch of test ideas that we're going to be throwing into the mix at our end here. All of the results will be published inside the training. Lots of different ideas and research angles, and all driven by this idea of minimizing the amount of effort that we need to put into it. I know in kind of white hat SEO or mainstream internet marketing, a lot of people bag out kind of churn and burn you know, SEO or churn and burn internet marketing, but when you read how many big authority sites get slapped, I was reading a link in the training today, I can't recall who posted it, that Ryanair had just been slapped, and moneysupermarket.com in the UK had also lost rankings on car insurance, I think it was. Ryanair is probably one of the most profitable low-budget airlines in Europe, operates out of Ireland, but has a lot of European roots. Really, those kind of very established companies, and there are others. I think Trivago also got hit recently. That was on Chris Kemper's link research tools. Even the big boys are finding it's a bit of a volatile, rocky road, and you know, in a way, it's not so much churn and burn, but it's about building a very flexible, reactive, consistently profitable and sustainable business. So if that means, for example, in my training where I summarized a lot of zero content SEO about penalty recovery in 48 to 72 hours, you know, I got a bit of heat for that training because it wasn't actually about penalty recovery, but it was about traffic recovery. But really, isn't that the point, that you really want to maintain that consistent flow of targeted traffic that converts? Doesn't matter what the vehicle comes through, and trying to save a site that you know, has been hit by Google and spending months of trying to get links removed and going through all of that just seems completely crazy to me, when really the goal has to be on building, as I say, this kind of very flexible, fast-moving, you know, innovative sort of business where we maintain our income and traffic, you know, targeted traffic, rather than necessarily how we do it kind of within ethical boundaries. So a lot of the stuff I'm going through today, I think, is a bit more geared towards affiliate marketing. So it definitely can work as normal traffic feeders as well, but you know, if you're thinking this is a bit affiliate marketing slanted kind of today, this monetization stuff, it unashamedly is, but hopefully it'll give you some good ideas and research options as well. So as I say, we come back to zero content SEO, which is all about minimal content on the money sites. We want, in building this kind of super flexible, fast, reactive business model, we want this minimal content. Our business is very testing driven, ongoing testing, research driven, finding out what works from an SEO and conversions point of view. We also probably are running with minimal content on the PBN posts, though I'm yet to see page 1 rankings from those. I want to run more tests, but they seem to hit the wall about the middle of page 2. Got a lot more testing there to do, as I say, but at the moment not quite getting to page 1 like I was getting with PBN posts that did have spun content in them. So this is the main focus today. It's about the minimal content. We obviously have to have some content on the money site to convert and get those click-throughs, but really do we need to build a massive authority site that may or may not get slapped in the future? I know I'm sort of contradicting my earlier teachings here, but that's good because we're all learning and growing, hopefully. You know, do we want to have this massive investment in all these articles and even staff and writers and whatever, building this massive site that may get slapped in the future? That may be part of your portfolio, but it might be great also to have these, to use the old cliche, the passive income sites, and a lot of them, and they're growing, and we have a very systematic approach to that. And the other next step after that, if you're wondering if there is one, if there's another box coming, there actually is, and that is the management of all this. Rightly, I think it was actually you, Jeremiah, who could have been pointed out the importance of adding discussion of management of all of the IM business, SEO business as well in the training. I actually did that on Traffic Planet, but I haven't yet added it to the training area, but definitely I will do, because you have to manage all this stuff. It's pretty details heavy, can be staff heavy or outsourcer heavy, so you've got to manage it as well. But as I say, today we're going to focus on this minimal content here and look at a bunch of options as well. Okay, so here's how it works. Here are my original thoughts on all this. This kind of goes against all general affiliate marketing teaching, and I'm going to just ignore that and go instead with testing. I think it's a better way to do it. So what I propose for us, and you might want to do your own testing, which goes in a completely different direction. I heartily encourage that. So in phase 1 for us, what we want to do is borrow the models from text or banner advertising, and I know that typically has very low click-through rate, but let me come back to that point in a minute. We want to borrow the models from text or banner advertising with some improvements. What we want is click-through rate and an acceptable level of conversion. Now that will vary from internet marketer to internet marketer, but this is all about an acceptable level of conversion for the amount of time put into that site, which was probably originally a zero content SEO site. So if we can reach that level, the focus then for us is just on adding more zero content SEO sites as traffic feeders. And the click-through trigger, as I'll call it in the rest of this webinar, will probably vary by niche, but one example that I'm going to show you in a minute, and this is one of our zero content SEO sites, was getting 50 to 100 clicks a day on a coupon site with just one image that I actually stole from HelloCoin just for testing. Hope nobody here works for HelloCoin. It's gone now, by the way. I just did it very quickly for testing because it was a good looking coupon, it was already branded, and it'd be pretty simple to kind of copy it and make my own original one. So all I had on the whole page, and I'm going to show an exact example of what I had. It's not the one I used, but it looks exactly the same, was getting 50 to 100 clicks a day through that link. I did have tracking issues, which I'm a bit reluctant to talk about VIG links to, because I don't think that'd be too crazy about the kind of site it was, but it was getting the clicks. So you can potentially do it with very little content on these sites, but it could be niche specific, so that's something to watch out for. So one of the things we're going to spend a bit of time on is in SEMrush, which I'm sure you all know or have heard of at some point. I used to use it a while back. I can't recall why I kind of dropped it. Recently, the last couple of weeks, I've been getting back into it a lot more, mainly actually for rank tracking on zero content SEO sites, because all my rank tracking accounts are maxed out. I've just burned through proxies like crazy. We do that. So I actually use it for rank tracking, which it's okay for. It's a bit imperfect, but it's kind of the best solution at the moment. You can imagine if you've got 10 zero content SEO sites, and each of them you're tracking for 200 terms, you've just now completely used up the whole quota on microsite masters, unless you go to an insanely high level, which we'll probably have to go to anyway. So here, in a moment, I'm going to walk through these tools. So SEMrush, the ads history feature under advertising research. I think, I'll check the pricing. It's like $79 or $99 a month, something like that, SEMrush. I'm not aware of anything that has quite the amount of information in that style, although mixrank.com, which I've talked a lot about in the past, does have some good stuff as well. And you can have a free account there and do some kind of basic testing. So those two can be very useful. So what we want to do for our click-through triggers is take these ideas, and it could even be the same actual text, and apply these to our zero content sites, like this Hello Coin example that I'm going to show you. And all we're really looking for, I mean, we need to know why we're there. What we're looking for is the offer hook. When a visitor arrives through Google to our zero content SEO site, which now actually has a little bit of content, what is the offer hook that we're going to put there to get that click through, whether it's to a dating ClickBank product, whether it's through to tickets, to Ticket Network, whether it's through to anything at all. It doesn't matter what it is, but we want to find those offer hooks that work. And SEMrush, this facility here, offers a great way to do it. So let me jump over there. And let's have a look. So here I'm looking in Forex. So what I've done here, I've just chosen one of the heavyweights in Forex, which is forex.com. So on the, let me just grab my pen actually, now that I'm getting used to using that a bit more. So under advertising research here over on the left, we come down and we've got ads history. There, that's the section we need to go to. And here, these numbers that you see is here you can see the 5 I've just circled, the 3, the 2. This is their approximate AdWords position in that month. So, if it's 1, it was the very top ad word. If it was 5, it was sort of the 5th down the page. So by clicking on any of these numbers, and I just need to turn off my pen to do that, get rid of the drawing. So by clicking on any of these, I can have a look exactly what, on this particular keyword, so let's say Forex or Forex trade over here under the keyword column, I can click on, for example, what they were running in March this year, and I can see over time now, I can see the search volume for that particular term, which is Forex, and it's 40,000 searches a month. The rough cost per click is about $8 a click. So it's not mega expensive, but it's not exactly cheap either. But look at this, how their AdWords have not changed at all, like for 6 months. If I come back earlier, let me go back to September last year. We can see in September they changed this particular offer here: competitive spreads, innovative tools, and free research. Sign up now. So they're spending quite a lot, I imagine, here. And actually, SEMrush does a calculation on how much they're spending as well. But I can come back here and I can look on that particular keyword. So this is all for just Forex they were targeting. I can see what their offer is. So I could take that text, put it on the page, or put it into some nice graphic if I wanted to, maybe with some image, and that could all just be linked to a Forex site. I don't know if Forex.com have an affiliate program. I don't know much about that niche, but this is the hook that they're persisting with. Now, if we have a look at some other keywords, so if, let's say, I have a look at something like Forex website down here, they've actually changed it. They've got a different offer hook kind of going here. Trade using our fully customizable platform, Forex Trader, sign up now. And I can go down and have a look at what they're also running in other ones. Again, they're running with this platform on that particular keyword, which costs $9.41 per click. Down here, this is a $17, almost $17 per click, and they actually have a different one here. So what we can do is, using one of various plugins or options, actually split test on our zero content SEO these different offers that we found here on SEMrush, and very quickly we'll get some feedback back on which one is actually working. If, for example, it's a ClickBank product, you can give each of your split test versions a different tracking ID, which you should then keep in a spreadsheet, and you'll see clicks and conversions for each of those different pages as well. Other affiliate platforms probably have some similar function as well. A lot of internet marketers I've talked to about that particular function in ClickBank, they aren't aware that the way to track on ClickBank is just to create a completely different tracking link, a unique identifier. Could be a number or a word that you put in a spreadsheet, and that ClickBank link then goes on a specific spot on your website. So you know, for example, if link XYZ is on the picture in the top right-hand column sidebar or whatever of the page, that's different click-through and different conversions to ABC link, which might be in the footer or on a different image. So you can create as many different unique ClickBank tracking IDs as you want, but you've got to record them somewhere, probably a spreadsheet, and just sort of describe it. So you put the link, you just describe where it is on the page, so that when you come back to ClickBank and look at your results, you actually can track exactly what's converting there. So you can see there on SEMrush, that's a lot of very, very useful information. And if we have a look at some others as well, so here, this was an example I actually used in the 48 to 72 hour penalty recovery example, Rosetta Stone, and in that training I talked about the Rosetta Stone Spanish course. So if I were actually jumping into this niche as an affiliate, and they do have an affiliate program, we can see here they bid high. They've got all these ones up here. 60,000, that's a bit higher actually than what I saw in Google Keyword Planner, but 60,000 searches a month. So in March, we can see they're trying a few different options here. The cost per click is a lot lower, but still they're spending money on it. And we can actually see, if we go back, we can see when, for example, they might experiment with a different ad word variation, and then, probably the most frequent one, and then they drop it and then go back to a previous one or go to a new one and keep it. You can just see the history of their ad word there. Now, obviously, when they come along to their ad words, I think they're putting in a ton of variations, and I haven't yet figured out. I probably need to talk to SEMrush about how they determine which one they show here, but maybe it's the most frequently shown. It probably is. But you can see a clear pattern, and if we go down to other other Spanish courses, keywords, let me see here, learn to speak Spanish gets 4,400 searches a month. Pardon me. We can see their different keyword options, different ad options as well. So this take the free demo, try us out. Previously, learn Spanish on the go, save $175. Again, these give you offers that you can put on your site. So for instance, let me just jump away from SEMrush. I talked about that Hello Coin example. So here you can see Hello Coin just have these kind of, these coupon banner images here. So I just basically screen captured one of those, put it on my test zero content site and linked it with a VIG link. And that's where I was seeing all those links, 50 to 100 per day. So it just kind of looked something like this, basically, without this STH webinar demo and these other pages, of course. Basically, it was just this. That's all it was. It's just like an image like this. Click on this particular one to get, a discount, whatever. That's all there was on the page, getting that click through. As you can see, actually there's good information on here, like tested, 100% success, how recently it was added. I think there are good smart elements that have worked into their coupon codes, but very easy to recreate something similar, that isn't stealing their images. And just while we're on that demo site here, you can see here, for example, I've done, this is what I wanted to show you on W Dating, actually. This is one of the most, W Dating is Evan Pagan's, his dating advice program for men. He also works under the pseudonym of David D'Angelo. And this is the AdWord text that they have used for like a year across like hundreds and hundreds of keywords for ads. So from their testing, this is the thing. Now, will just text on a page work at getting a link? I don't know. Let's test it and find out. Maybe it needs to be woven into something a bit more compelling with a stronger call to action, like click here to find out the secrets about learning the rejection-proof approach or whatever. But we can split test. But the beauty of tying this into SEMrush is that we're just taking advantage of all of the testing that Evan Pagan's team have done. Let me just jump over to that. Actually, there's Jenny Craig as well I was looking at. So if we have a look here, and I want to make one other quick observation here, look at all these branded keywords. So if someone is typing in David D'Angelo something or W Dating something, probably easier to convert than just a general dating query. And I think Evan Pagan, it's his own affiliate program you have to apply directly. But we can see here all these ones. And the other quick thing just to note on SEMrush is where you have a space, they actually have no ads on that keyword at that time. So they may have tried a keyword and dropped it altogether, and that will just show by new kind of white areas there. But if we come up here to some of these terms and click on, okay, that's a little bit different there, that one. So on that particular one, because it's a David D'Angelo focused term, it's author of the book, W Dating Reveals All, which you could use if you were an affiliate for him. Let's have a look at a few others here. Here it is. So we've got this learn the rejection-proof approach to meet, date beautiful women. Just slightly different, actually, I think, from the one I had. But that idea of rejection-proof approach, okay, he's got a few other ones, a bit different ones I saw there. But you can see, okay, this rejection-proof, they use it a lot. They've got a few other options here, some they've stopped. But you can see now I can just go here and immediately find 3, 4, 5, even a couple great offer hooks that I can immediately start testing on my zero content SEO site, even if it's just this. Even if I just have a split test with his exact text, could be a different link. If you're not an affiliate, you might be wanting to push him to something else, because they all sort of focus on getting over rejection. Just setting up 2 pages here with a text link there, if it's got traffic coming, let's see what happens click-through and conversion-wise. So let me just jump back very quickly to Jenny Craig there. And we can see here, we are dealing, I know, with a brand here. So, we've got this easy way to lose weight fast. Let's have a look here. So I found from my other research on Jenny Craig, they had a lot on this lose 12 pounds in 12 weeks. Now, it could well be over the last couple of years, Jenny Craig have experimented with all kinds of numbers. It could have been 6 pounds in 6 weeks, 10 pounds in 10 weeks. The numbers, the recipe details might have varied a lot, but we can just jump in here and see what they've found and immediately start using that as an offer hook to potentially get some click-through just based on their expensive testing. Just to kind of round out here on SEMrush, because time is getting away from us a little bit here. So let's say, for example, you're promoting antivirus software as an affiliate. You can come along here. avg.com is one of the big players in antivirus software. They probably create quite a few viruses as well. I'm just joking. Don't tell them. Don't want to get sued. And we can see here, what have we got here? 5-year most downloaded antivirus, free 24/7 support, official download, free download for your PC. We don't need to do any copywriting. We can just see exactly what they've used here, antivirus and anti-spyware and more, but they dropped that. They've stopped using that, and we can then just come along and see what they're actually using now. So in March, they're just experimenting with a different one. So you're kind of looking for patterns there where you want to see month after month they're putting it in, especially if the cost per click is really high. They're probably not going to persist with that with a lousy offer in their AdWord if it's not performing for them on a really expensive keyword that they've got a bid on. And by the way, if you see down the bottom here, there are just pages. Like this has got 238 pages of results in SEMrush. So because these big heavyweight players, they go after lots of keywords, you know, there's plenty of extra ideas, probably too many actually that you can go for. So on those examples there, so that was antivirus. It's the same on David D'Angelo. It's the same with Jenny Craig. SEMrush can give you all of that information, and you can also just click on ads copies for a much simpler look at different AdWords they've been using, how many keywords they're using here. If you don't want to deep dive into the ads history, you can also just use that one there. Theoretically, I mean, it's a bit imprecise. If they're bidding on more keywords with that ad, you probably think that's a better converter, and they looks like they arranged them by the number of keywords being bid on. So at the moment, this is their top offer here, this one up here, with 456 keywords being bid on. Now, I don't pretend to be an SEMrush expert at all, and in fact I want to get people on my team to learn, deep dive into it and learn it a lot better, but just those few functions there, you can see how that could potentially really help our monetization efforts. Let me quickly jump on to something else that I wanted to show you, which is, this was one of my other ideas that I'm sure is a complete violation of Amazon's terms of service, but it appealed to me nonetheless. What I've done here is I've taken a complete screenshot of a particular page on Amazon. So it actually looks completely like Amazon. And what I could do here on my excuse me, zero content SEO site is either link this whole page, which is pretty crude, with my affiliate link to Amazon, and hopefully not get my account banned. And by the way, if you can see up the top, let me just grab the pen, you do need to remove this web page screenshot bit from the image. This is all one big PNG image created by this free software here, and I'll put a download link beneath it. It's just an extension in Chrome. You can just add it there, and you can completely capture a web page as an image. So what I did was, whoops, that's a different one. Yep, there we are. Let me just get rid of the drawing there. So here, I'm really curious to just run this out and see if it actually gets clicks. But the smarter way, I think, to do it is what I've done here. And I did this with Expression Web's picture editor, and any HTML editor can do it. You'll see here that there are no links on the page except where I put a heat map spot on it. Actually, I'm on the wrong page. So you can see here my mouse arrow has now just turned into a link. So I've actually put a hotspot there and a hotspot on that one. Okay, wherever there's a link, maybe I could put my affiliate link. So if I click on that, I'm now going to go to that particular product on Amazon and hopefully buy it within 24 hours. So that I thought was a fun little option. One other one I quickly wanted to mention, this is screen capture on Teo of Badass on ClickBank. And again, you can see in the top left-hand corner, I need to remove that web page screenshot that just comes by default, not a biggie. I need to remove that. But the thing that I was trying to show here is that one of the ways to get the click-through could be with a press play thing. I actually added this. It's very crude. Press play now to watch, and I didn't even have a transparent background images. This is just for purely demo purposes. But all we really want is to get them to that that particular affiliate, the vendor's page. We want to get them to, or whatever site it happens to be. Will that result in lower conversions? Probably. But the question is, are we going to have an acceptable level of conversion for a site that I've spent 10 minutes on and then I'm working on other zero content SEO sites? So it's more about having more exposure on more keywords with these converted zero content SEO sites. So the video, the kind of fake video play, and you see that in email marketing quite a bit, where it's click on to watch this video, but of course it's just a link to that particular page. You can apply that. So let me just continue on there. Here is another one I just threw together very quickly. Classic, this is so old school advertising, with classic kind of before and after. And I just threw on this bit of copy here. Click here to read how I lost this weight. Hint, very unusual method. You see on that banner ad around a lot this one weird old tip for losing weight, or one weird old tip for this or that. Maybe it's working at the moment because it does seem to be around a lot. But before and after shots, potentially, it could just be that image on your zero content SEO site, all to be tested. I've shown you that particular tool. If you're working with market health, for example, and this isn't a good one to show because of all these fields here, but you can also do a screen capture possibly on a markethealth.com sales page that you want to drive people through to. You might remove that. I'm not sure what their current terms and conditions are on that. You need to check. I'm definitely not guaranteeing it. You can also find video button overlays as well that you can use. Just make sure you've got a graphics program that can handle doing it. The one I was using didn't, hence my ugly image there. It could be that you have something like a comparison table, and I'm not necessarily saying to steal this one like this and just stick a link on it, almost suggesting that. But you can certainly just try it out for a day and just see if it actually gets some click-through. If it does, you can try recreating a very similar one, hot-spotting some links there, adding a bit more, doing a bit more work. But basically, the web page is just a comparison table designed to get the link. Okay, that shouldn't be there, that slide. Okay. Just ignore that random rankings factor. Now here's just my checklist to make sure I showed you those things. Let me jump back to my browser. So on this particular site here, I've shown you the Foot Locker coupon code. Foot Locker wasn't the one, the zero content one. Here's how the Amazon clone page went on WordPress. So you need to do some mucking around with editing. But with these guys, it was just HTML page with one image stuck in it and some heat maps stuck on it. So could be a huge issue with Amazon. So if you get your account banned by trying that, don't blame me. I'm sort of trying to just give some ideas here. Okay, so we've seen the hotspot, looked at those, the Tau video player one, we've seen that one. Diet pill review, let's have a quick look at that page. I think that was another comparison table, but a longer format here, so it's this kind of thing. Maybe that can work. The thing is, because you have an image, it's not going to be duplicate content either. That's something worth pointing out, and you can just put up something very quickly and just test a few different options and see which ones give you traction. The good thing is too, once you have done some A/B testing in a particular niche and you find a particular click-through trigger that works, obviously you're going to roll that out to more and more of your zero content SEO sites for more clicks. But you might want to just give them different unique affiliate links just to track them. I just want to show very quickly, excuse me, in MixRank, similar kind of thing to SEMrush. You can see here in diet pills was the example I looked at here. This particular AdWords has been shown 260,000 times. It's been running since something like August, September in 2011. So do you think they'd be sticking with that if it wasn't converting? So this can be good. And the other good thing, you can have a look at some display ads on MixRank. And I think if I just jump back to my browser, I think I've got one here. So on Jenny Craig, for example, I just put it in. This is a completely free account, by the way. I can have a look. This is more celebrity driven, which is typical with some of those big Weight Watchers type. The banner ads are actually pretty bad, but maybe they work if they're persevering with them. But you can also see over here we've got the display ads option. You go in with a free account in MixRank and just get some potential ideas there as well. Okay, let me just jump back to PowerPoint. Just some final thoughts. You know, there are obvious caveats here, and I'm not suggesting this is necessarily perfect, but it's an interesting field to test in a bunch of different niches. And now that we have quite a lot of different sites ranking for zero content SEO, we now have the option to come along and move that into monetization testing while keeping the zero content SEO testing going on. Just be mindful, you could have copyright problems on grabbed images. Better to create your own if you're getting any conversions from any quick tests. What I did with HelloCoin and their coupon was kind of more like what not to do, because that was a bit risky and could have very easily been spotted and gotten into trouble there. So I don't, I don't recommend it, but I was very curious to see what would happen on it. There is time invested there, of course, in the split testing and going along. Bit of expense in SEMrush as well, and doing some research there. But is it more than just normal kind of affiliate marketing? Probably much less, I think, actually, and probably a lot less wasteful if you're just going straight to really good offer hooks that you can use. And that's everything on that minimal content monetization. Excuse me, just got a frog in the throat today. So I've tried to just cram a lot in there, guys, so if you've got some questions, please now feel free to fire them. Okay, I've got a load of questions here. Let's see. Let me find my spot. Let's see here. Chad has voted for this best Easter webinar ever. I'll take that, Chad. Happy with that. Tony, thank you. I think Jeremiah has asked on the penalty removal, people don't get it. They're married to their domain or website. Absolutely. Jeremiah asked, when I used the Footlocker banner, I linked to my affiliate link to Footlocker or somewhere else. It was actually through Viglinks, viglinks.com, which is a kind of funny affiliate network, but it's been written about quite a bit in the coupon code monetization area of SEO Traffic Hacks. So I'll put a link to that. So it was just a normal kind of affiliate link, Jeremiah. Peter has said, perfect timing on the SEMrush overview. I was planning to switch from SpyFood to them today. Thank you. Glad to help, Peter. And actually really interested in your thoughts on the comparison between the two tools. Chris has asked, MixRank, what is the cost for that service? Let's have a look. Peter, actually, before we do, let's have a look at the cost on SEMrush as well. So you can see you can start, you can try it for 1 month for $79.95 if it's recurring, $69.95 on SEMrush. And let's also now have a look at MixRank as well. Let me just find it here. Maybe it's free. Let's see. Let's find it here. I used to have a paid account. It could have been a couple of $100 a month. If I log out, actually it should show me. Let's see. And let's find the pricing. Okay, whenever I see scheduled personal demo, that usually means outrageously expensive. So they may have increased their pricing a lot now. So it may not be that feasible. Whenever you've got to make an appointment with a consultant, usually that means megabucks. Learned that from ClickTail. Tony has suggested to get past the copyright problems of images, people can just take a screenshot of the image on the page, then crop it. They can, Tony. I'm not sure if that's enough coverage. Like, I'm not an image rights lawyer by any stretch. It may well be okay. And if you're an affiliate linking to their program, will they have an issue with it? Peter's asked, what are you using to run your split tests? There's a very good plugin we use called Max AB, and it's a free one. I'll put it. It hasn't been updated for a while, but still it was working okay. I'll put a link to it beneath this video recording, which will be up in about 15 or 20 minutes in the training, Peter. So if you can also Google it, Max AB split testing plugin. Chris has asked, zero content SEO next step. After finding the winner, do you want to spend time doing the press release, blog surge, PBN links, or you can just go hard with your own PBN? Typically, I would go for the press release and all of that, Chris, but I actually want to, because I'm in a sort of crazy peel back to the bare bones minimum, I'm going to test quite a few without the press release layer as well. I think a lot of what I've seen, in the last month or so, I need to just really revisit a lot of assumptions and habits and really question whether they're fully still necessary. So I have had that in the past. I've found it is a very good stabilizing effect, but I want to test it again and really see just how much I can remove, and maybe, I'm not sure that press release can go, but that's subject to testing as well. Tony has said, your weekly webinar is the best part of my week. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. The constant barrage of first page rankings isn't too bad either. That's nothing. The webinars are way better than any page one rankings. And also Chad has added, and it's very relevant because we have that coupon code focus in the training. Thank you, Chad. There are coupons on SEMrush if searched for. He pays $59 a month. And Chris has asked, how about running a social layer instead of press release? Worth a try. Chris, if you have some options that you've seen working in the past when I've tried things like social adder and stuff like that, I haven't got an amazing response from it. Maybe it can help, maybe not. If you've got one you want us to test, very happy to do it. Okay, Peter has chimed in with a very, very quick comparison note on SpyFu versus SEMrush. Peter says they have comparable PPC data, but SEMrush is much more up-to-date on SEO tracking, judging from the free check on SEMrush, while SpyFu helps you group and export PPC keywords. Thank you, Peter. Yep, that's great. And Chris has added, I'll run a test and post it on SEO Traffic Hacks. And one other quick note, thanks, Chris. The more testing that training members do as well all helps a lot. And you've probably seen now with zero content SEO testing, quite a few other members are chiming in with their results that they're getting from it. And it's not just me posting really what I think are quite spectacular results for empty websites, but other members are also getting very similar kind of results, and it's really changing, I think, the way they go about their SEO, because you just can cut down so much wasted time and just find those winners quickly and build out sites. So very exciting times in the training, and really interested to see now how we move that while keeping the SEO testing going into this monetization testing. So pretty exciting times, and of course results will be reported in the training, and webinars I'll have updated info in the webinars as well. So Thank you guys for coming today on Easter Good Friday. I hope you have a relaxing day there and take it a bit easy over the weekend, and next week there'll be a ton of exciting stuff to dig into, new stuff as well. So thank you all, and hope to see you on the next webinar.